I will use the program we used in the previous segment to discuss in detail each of the three components of a function. First, you must declare a function prototype. In our example, the function prototype is simply void displayLine. A function prototype is in essence declaring the function to C. If the programmer-defined function is located after the main function of program, the program will have one function prototype for each function definition in that section. You usually place the function prototypes at the beginning of the program, after the include directive, such as in the example that you see. If you compare the function prototype to the syntax of the function header, you'll notice that the syntax is almost identical. The only difference is that the function prototype ends in a semicolon, whereas the function header does not. In this example, the displayLine function did not require any information to be passed to it. In most programs, however, you may need to pass information to a function in order for the function to perform its task. We will discuss passing information to functions very soon. Moving to the calling statement in the program, which actually we have three of, and you notice that each one is identical. To call or invoke a programmer-defined function, you simply use its name and any arguments that you may need to pass. Once again, in our case, we're not passing any arguments. This calling statement requires no arguments. It simply is displayLine, open and close parentheses, followed by a semicolon. When C processes this statement in the current program, it temporarily leaves the main function in order to process the instructions in the displayLine function. C will process the statements within this displayLine function in the order in which they are entered in the function. In this case, the function statements will display the row of hyphens first, and then advance the cursor to the next line. When C encounters the displayLine's function's closing brace, it marks the end of the function. C will then return to the statement immediately following the one that called the function, in this case, the cout statement. The third component of a function is the function definition. The function definition starts with a function header. Note the syntax of this carefully. The keyword void is followed by the name of the function. You'll notice that the function header does not end in a semicolon because it is not considered a C statement. The function header for a void function begins with the keyword void, which tells the C compiler that the function does not return a value. You follow the void keyword with the name of the function. The rules for naming programmer-defined functions are the same as for naming variables. To make your programs more self-documenting and easier to understand, you should use meaningful function names that describe the task that the function is to perform. In this program, for example, the name of the function displayLine indicates that the function is simply to be used to display a line. You will notice that a set of parentheses and an optional parameter list follow the function's name in the syntax. Not every function requires information to be passed to it, so not every function will have parameters listed in its function header. Our displayLine function in this program is an example of a function that does not have a parameter list. Functions that do not require a parameter list will have an empty set of parentheses after the function's name. The opening and closing brace marks the contents of the function. The displayLine function in this program contains two statements. The first statement displays the row of hyphens, and the second advances the cursor to the next line.